Bruce Wolpe from the United States Study Center. Bruce, thank you for your time.
Good morning. Good to be here. Glad to be back on air with you.
Absolutely. A bit of a wait, but we're made
here.
It.
It's okay.
Now, with the impeachment inquiry against Donald Trump, we're really starting to see him feel the pressure and even talk about potentially some of the senators turning their support.
He certainly conceded that in the House there are the votes to impeach. The investigation is ramping up. There is the president's pushed back very strongly. He sent a letter to the House leadership yesterday, and he said this is illegitimate, unconstitutional. I'm not going to cooperate with it. Now, I think that will have the effect on the Democrats to dig in and say, we're proceeding. We have our case. It's pretty black and white, pretty clear. People understand it, and we're going to hold you to account. I think there's one piece of this that is kind of interesting politically. Should there be a vote on the House floor to formally authorize an impeachment inquiry? The Democrats are going to hold a conference call Friday, U.S. time, and I think the Speaker, Nancy Pelosi, will be motivated by what she's hearing from centrist Democrats who wanted Trump seats. If they're feeling a little heat, they want some more protection with a formal vote to have the inquiry, I think she'll proceed with that. So we will see. But make no mistake, this is coming, and they feel very confident of their case.
And it does seem like President Trump is starting to get a bit more rattled. This was him speaking about the impeachment inquiry not long ago.
Schiff made it up. Then it turns out that the whistleblower was in cahoots with Schiff. Then it turns out that the whistleblower is a Democrat, strong Democrat, and is working with one of my opponents as a Democrat that I might end up running against. The whole thing is a scam. It's a fix. And we wrote a letter yesterday, and probably ends up being a big Supreme Court case. Maybe it goes a long time. I don't know. But the Republican Party has been treated unbelievably badly and unfairly by the Democrats.
Well, Bruce, we did see him say there that he's thinking about running again at least. A bit of confidence there?
He has plenty of confidence. He believes in his base. And so far, the Republicans have held quite strongly. There are some voices, such as Mitt Romney, who've come out, Ben Sass, who've come out, two senators who've come out expressing some doubts. But whether expressing doubts turns into votes for impeachment and for conviction, to remove him from office, is another matter. So, Trump's game plan is he's running it. It's being run from the Oval Office. It's on Twitter. It's on Fox News. It's messages to his base. And he's calling the plays, and he believes he's in a pretty strong position, and he can beat this.
Now, do you think this move in Turkey, in northern Syria, it's really quite a dramatic move by the president. Do you think it's being done to deflect attention away from the impeachment inquiry?
No, I don't. I think that the president made a midnight decision after a call with Erdogan, the leader of Turkey, to do this step. Earlier, you ran film of the president saying that going into the Middle East was one of America's biggest mistakes. He believes that firmly. He wants to end these wars.
And he did campaign on it.
And he campaigned on it. And so he thinks, again, with his base, it's popular. But inside Washington, there are people who believe that if this goes badly, and if the Kurds are massacred, and if there's a camp of 11,000 ISIS prisoners, if that is dismembered and these people escape, and the question on ISIS generally, can it be reconstituted? If those things go badly, then this will come back to haunt him, and Republicans are very, very concerned. Leader Mitch McConnell in the Senate, and of course Lindsey Graham. So a lot of his support against impeachment has real doubts about what he's doing, and the two could be conflated together as far as his overall standing among Republicans.
And we have seen the foreign policy really dominating President Trump's agenda for the last few weeks, and the China trade war is still going. This was him speaking about the China trade issue just at the same press conference.
Since the World Trade Organization founding, China went in 2001 or so. China went in and just ripped off the world. So, and I told that to President Xi. I said, you know, this can't be like a 50-50 deal. Because a 50-50 deal, you're like up there, we're down here. So a 50-50 deal, it doesn't work, right? You got to have a little balance. This has to be a better deal from our standpoint. And I think they fully understand it.
Bit of hand gesture diplomacy there.
It is. The Chinese negotiators will be in Washington later today, U.S. time, and there will be 2 days of talks. It really is a pivot point as to whether this is going to advance or not. Trump feels he's in a strong position, but I think the Chinese also feel, Mr. President, you're going to need a deal next November, so how strong is your position actually as we negotiate? And the markets have been going up and down based on signals whether they believe the talks are going to succeed or not. We will see. It's a moment of truth in the trade talks, but I think the Chinese are counting that Trump, weakened by impeachment, needs a deal a little bit more than he's letting on to in his public statements. That'll all be tested by Saturday, our time. We'll see whether there's hope for this, either a partial deal or a real deal or not.
Because this will be really key for him next year if so much of his platform has been, I'm good on the economy's been strong under my presidency. If this trade war keeps going...
And hurts the economy, and if there's no agreement with North Korea, and if Iran keeps spiraling out of control, and various things. So he has a moment where he can either put things together or it falls apart. And again, all wrapped up in what comes out of impeachment and his overall, how the American people actually see him. It's quite a dramatic moment for him.
It's all going to come down to, though, who the Democrats put up. And there's still no kind of clear front runner on that side.
No, Joe Biden has been the front runner. Elizabeth Warren has been rising. She's now effectively tied with him in the polls. The question from Trump's attacks on Biden that has triggered the impeachment inquiry has been whether the mud sticks and whether that hurts, even though there are no charges that are credible against Biden. He's okay with it. Does mud stick? And as Democratic voters look at him, they, well, can we have a stronger candidate unencumbered by these issues going up? But then is that Elizabeth Warren? Yeah. And is she too far left to get elected? So it's really going to be interesting to see how the Democrats, A, fight it out, and who can finally emerge as the new front runner. But Biden, in 2016, Hillary Clinton didn't hit back strong enough against Trump, and it hurt. Biden today started hitting back much stronger. Will it help? And that's what we'll see over the next few days.
Because that'd be the really interesting thing if the actual content of the phone call ends up being more damaging than the phone call itself.
It does. And again, this goes back to what evidence the Democrats have, and that they're comfortable with it, and they think it really is, along with his open-air comments about China. We want you to interfere in the campaign, that they feel that they can proceed on this basis and that the American people will get it. The president has, as we discussed earlier, pushed back, not cooperating with it. That in itself will also be a possible article of impeachment against the president for obstructing the work of Congress. So again, the Democrats feel they're in a strong position. They're down this road. And even though the conventional wisdom was, don't do it, it's too political, too raw, too partisan, they're down this road and they believe they have him on the issue of standing. And if you look at polls over the past few days, do you support the impeachment inquiry? It's gone from 40% support among the American people to over 50%.
And that poll's from Fox News.
There's a new Fox News poll. 51% want the president not only impeached, but removed from office. That's kind of stunning, and I'm sure the president will react on that. In these polls, as you look at who doesn't want him removed from office, that actually meshes with his approval rating. It's somewhere in the high 30s to the mid 40s, don't remove the president. And that really tracks his approval rating, which is between 39 and 45%. So that's where it is. But again, those polls show the political costs of going down this road are not as high for the Democrats as they feared as recently as a month ago.
Well, Bruce Wolpe, as always, thank you for your time and your patience this morning with our technical issues.
Great to be here, and thank you so much, Annalise.